Hello and welcome to this Beard Clipper video. In this video I'm going to show you me printing and putting together the awesome column mimic, easy for me to say, column mimic from my friend Odgardian. He has an Etsy store. I will attempt to remember to link that in the description below. Unfortunately YouTube won't let me link it up here, but I will put a link to that, and it's a very talented guy. There's a lot of 3D work. He did quite a bit of work for me actually in terms of designing logos, and I really recommend his stuff. And this model is absolutely brilliant. So I won't ramble on too much now. I really hope you enjoy this video, and go and check out some of his stuff on his Etsy and order from him. He's a really good guy and well worth supporting, and he will make a difference if you go and check it out and buy some stuff from him, so please do. But I'm not being paid to say that, no commercial interest at all. I buy my stuff from him. I just think he deserves the support. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you again at the end. So I was asked by my mate on the TCU Discord to do some test prints for him. Now, people who watch this channel a lot will recognise him. This guy is called Odgardian, and I've printed some of his stuff before. The Orsonar Ammon Hen Fallen Head, which was a great project, had good fun with it. This is a mimic, a mimic that is a column, that's the word, a column mimic. And he basically rendered it yesterday and sent it over to me to test print. I've worked with him a little bit on a few mistakes in the actual files, which is perfectly understandable and fine. And I've just finished printing that. These have come off my resin Elegoo Mars 2, and I must admit I'm very, very impressed from what I can see. Really, really impressed. I supported them myself, and they've come out quite well. So I will be putting a link to where you can get these if you want to, and I will be painting this up and assembling it as well. But yeah, this is just literally just come out of the wash and cure. Well, it hasn't cured yet, just come out of the wash. I'm going to take the supports off and then go and cure it. But I'm very, very impressed, and thought I'd show that off. I've got a few more things of his to print as well. There's the column turning into a mimic, which is also cool, but I'm mostly excited about the mimic one because yeah, it's really, really looking great. I'm very, very impressed. So yeah, that's that. I'll bring you along for me painting and basing this up, and then it can become another cool random thing on my shelf. Alright, so cleaned up and cured, and I must say I am very, very pleased with this. It's printed out perfectly, and the little kind of keying that he's done, and he said he didn't know if he was going to do it right, and he really wanted this to be done right. And I'm not. I've got a free print out of this, but I need to help him. Didn't ask really for it, but all I can tell you is that he has keyed that perfectly. Look at that. There is barely a joint, and the tiniest joint at the back, which will be very easy to just clean up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this together, but I'm going to glue this together in stages, so I won't do it all on camera, I don't think. This goes through to here, and then this sits upside down and slightly at an angle like that. So basically I'll glue this on next, and then that will come along and join there, and you can see that that fits perfectly. So the only thing that's missing on this at the moment is actually the base. I'm waiting for Odgardian to give me a new version of that so I can print that out, and I'll hopefully get to do that tonight and add to that tomorrow, because then I can start painting it. But yeah, superb job, mate. You really have smashed this out of the park, and yeah, really, really easy to print, really easy to support, and really easy to assemble. So what more can you ask for? It looks great as well. Scary. This awesome mimic has sat on my shelf for quite a while, just because I had a slight misprint on the base piece and I was going to reprint it, but I've looked at it and decided actually I'm not going to reprint it. I'm just going to roll with how it is. So I might print another copy, but part of my current slight lack of interest for all kinds of hobbying is also I'm not really doing any 3D printing. I need to put a new FEP in the vat and things like that. So yeah, so I just think I'm going to go with this. I think it does look good, and I think it certainly is and doesn't detract from how awesome this model is. So we'll just super glue that on like that, and then what I'll do is I'll paint it, and then we'll put it on a base, and we'll show it off. But the fact is this is an awesome model, yeah, go and check out Odgardian. I'll try to remember to link to his shop and everything in the video description, but if not, leave a comment and I will link you up via that, because yeah, just the stuff he makes is just wonderful, and this in particular I really like. I've got a few other bits and pieces of his that I'll be printing when I get back into feeling like printing, and I'll obviously shout out to him over and over because he's a top lad. But yeah, so I'm going to leave that to set now, and then I'll prime it and paint it, and I'll let you know what colours I use. But most of the time, or what I'll do, of course, as normal, is after the painting we'll have a look at how I'm going to put that onto a nice little scenic base, just so that it's not quite so wobbly. I'll put it on a small base, and that will look really nice. Anyway, there we are. I'm glad to have made that decision. It's been staring at me very accusingly. I just needed to make a decision and move on. I had a lot of fun painting this up. Just finished it now, just in the 22 minutes this evening. What I'm going to do now is stick it just down to this little base here, which is actually a blank that I've saved from an MDF kit. No point in wasting things, is there? So I've had a few of them, so I saved it, and it's going to be a perfect size to do a nice little base for this. So all I'll do is I'll glue it down with some PVA now, and then tomorrow morning, or sometime during the day tomorrow hopefully, I will put some texture around it, and then that'll be done. So yeah, really cool thing. Really pleased I got it done. And Odgardian's a talented old man, isn't he, to make this. So yeah, really good. Mostly with contrast, a little bit of Vallejo as well, but mostly contrast. And yeah, very quick, and it's turned out great. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply a base material to this. So this is just normal builder's sand. I've not sieved it or sifted it at all. I want this to be quite a rough base. I don't actually want to drip any glue into the bucket, so let's just apply the glue off camera. There we are. So I've got a load of glue, and what we're going to do is that. Wait a second, and then just let it drop off. And you can see that has given me really quickly a really nice texture. So I'll let that dry. I might just knock the bits on the edges off, so I don't want those. So I'll let that dry, and then what I'll do is I'll paint the same glue over the top to seal it. Yeah, that's done there. Alright, now I'm going to bling this up a little bit with some flock and other materials. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to show how I go about doing basic, simple vines. So what I do is I will paint a stripe on here, obviously avoiding the flesh, like that. Do one over there, and then we've got some flock. What you do, you just drop your flock on, like that, shake it off, and you've got really simple vines. So I will continue doing that. The other thing is I've got this stuff, I call it my Easter material because I bought it from a shop around Easter. Don't know what it is, it's just like some kind of material. And I'm going to glue a whole chunk of that on to the side and around the back, so it'll look a little bit like that. Now this will take quite a few coats, a lot of coats, to actually make it not fall off. So I won't do all of that on camera, but what I am going to do is I felt like that broke then. Ooh, thought it snapped. What I'm going to do is do a little bit more of this vine work before I do that bottom bit, because the bottom bit is going to be the hard bit. But this is really simple to do. You don't need to spend a lot of time on doing something like this, and it can really bring a piece to life. So I'll get this done. Then I'll get that glued in place. That will be done just using some neat PVA, press it in, wait for it to dry, and then use this terrain glue, watered down PVA, to in like 5 or 6 or 7 applications to make it more hard wearing. So yeah, Might then come along and do some different colours. If I do, I'll turn the camera back on. So I've decided that I want actually to have a little bit more colour than just the rough sand. So what I've got here is some of this reddish brown, which I'm just going to lightly put on, not all over, but just to give a little bit more colour here. I've pretty much finished gluing down the green weeds, which is good, because yeah, that looks good. I'm happy with that. Maybe actually just come in here and do a little bit more around the edge there so it doesn't look quite so unnatural. Okay, because what I want to do actually is I've got these white tufts from Serious Play, and I'm going to put those on the base around here. So I'll just wait for that to dry, it won't take very long, and then I'll bring you back and we'll put some white tufts on, and I think that then will complete this, which is good. Right, so on to the last few little bits of things to do on this, and the last thing I want to do is put these white tufts just around the base. So yeah, as I always say, when I'm doing this I make use of tweezers because I find it very easy for these to stick to my fingers if I don't use tweezers, because the sticky base is quite sticky. So yeah, and I also dip them in PVA, because having said that the sticky bit is sticky, it often isn't. It doesn't stay sticky long enough to. It gets a bit annoying, so it might fall off after a couple of months. So just going to stick a selection of these on the base, and then maybe one more, I think, and then we're done. Really cool model this. Oh, dropped it. Really cool model. Just brilliant. So there we are, that's what I wanted to do. Some nice white flowers on the base, and it's finished. Thank you, Odgardian. Brilliant, brilliant. So I'll wait for that to dry and I'll get some pictures. Well, there we are. I hope you enjoyed that video. Just a short one for me this time, but a really cool model, and I think you must agree that Odgardian is a really talented 3D designer, and that looks great. Really pleased with it. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Really appreciate every single one of you that comments. They really inspire me and encourage me to keep going, and yeah, don't be shy, but if you don't, that's fine, and if you made it this far, really appreciate it. And I'll wrap up by saying, as I always do, to everyone, please do stay healthy, stay safe, and stay well.